Hey everyone, welcome to another lesson in this Selenium with Python course. Today we are going to understand what are Python variables. So we are going to see how you can declare variables in Python, what are the different ways of declaring Python variables, how they are interpreted, how they are declared, and how it is different from some of the other languages like Java. So first of all, let's understand what is a variable, right? So it's nothing but it is used to store values by reserving some memory location, okay? And when you declare a Python variable, the interpreter is going to allocate a memory based on the data type of the variable, okay? Now we are going to understand what are different data types in subsequent sessions. But just remember that if you are declaring a string variable or integer variable, right? So based on that, the interpreter will allocate some memory. Now, in Python, it is not necessary to explicitly declare a variable, okay? Because the interpreter is going to do that automatically when you are going to assign a value to a particular variable, okay? Let's understand that with the help of some examples. So in this, you can see there are three different examples. So first is we are assigning a value 5, which is integer kind of value, right? We are assigning it to a variable a. So we are not declaring like int a equals to 5, which we generally do in some other languages like Java. But in Python, you don't need to do that. Okay, it's pretty simple to look and also pretty simple to write. That's why Python is emerging as a very favored tool for developers, right? Um, Similarly, you can also assign a string value to a variable called str, and similarly a floating point value like 10.0 to a variable f, right? So you can see all three lines are looking similar, but the only difference is they have got different values based on which the data type will be decided in Python. Okay. Similarly, you can declare any kind of variable using different values. Okay. Now, continuing with Python variables, there is something called multiple assignment in Python, right? So what it does, using this, you can assign multiple values to multiple variables at the same time. And the other way around is assigning a single value to multiple variables in a single line. Okay, so let's see in these examples how it is done. So in the first example, you will see we are assigning three different values to three different variables, right? So 1, 2, 3 are values which are assigned to A, B, C respectively. Okay, and I can do that simply writing it in a single line. So in other cases, you would have written like a equals to 1, then in the next line you will write b equals to 2, in the next line c equals to 3, but no need to do that, right? Make it more simpler and easier by writing it all in a single line. Similarly, in the next example, I can assign the value 1 to all the three different variables x, y, z simultaneously by writing it all in one line. Okay, so this is all about multiple assignment. Now, the next important concept in Python is variable names are case sensitive. Okay, so when you are using variable names which are same, but they are differing in the way it is written, or you can say the uh, the case sensitivity, right? Or you can say whether one variable name is uppercase, the other is a lowercase, although both have the same variable name, but it depends on the difference it has got in terms of casing, right? So a simple example could be the variable x, which is defined here with two different values. One is an integer, one is a string, but then one is a uppercase and the other is a lowercase. So in this case, Python is going to derive it as two different variables and not the same variable having two different values. Okay, so do take care of this when you are trying to define variables in Python, because based on whether it's uppercase, lowercase, uh, Python could derive it as a single variable or two different variables. Okay. So that's all about a brief overview about how the Python variable looks like, how you can declare them, how you can do multiple assignments, right? Next, we are going to look at different data types in Python. We have already seen some examples where we are using different data types by defining different values, but we'll look at it in more details.